How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not yet heard the clock.
She goes down at 12.
I take this later, sir.
Here, hold, take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Take thee that too. A heavy summons lies like a lead upon me. And yet I would not sleep, merciful powers. Restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way in repose. Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend.
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been in an unusual pleasure, and sent forth the great largest to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought.
I dreamt, all's well. I dreamt last night of 3 weird sisters. To you they may have showed some truth.
I think not of them, yet when we can entreat, in hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business if you would grant the time.
At your kind's leisure.
If you shall plead to my consent, when 'tis, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but I still keep my bosom franchised in allegiance clear. I shall be counseled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir, the like to you.
Go bid thy mistress when my drink is ready. She strike upon the bell, get thee to bed.
Ooh.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle towards my hand, come let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet in form as palpable as which I now draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, in such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools o' the other senses, or else worth all the rest I see thee still, and on thy blade in dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thy to mine eyes. Nor o'er the one half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abused. The curtained sleep witchcraft celebrates, pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves the ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout. And take the present horror from the time, in which now suits with it, whiles I threat he lives, words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done, the bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark, peace. It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman, which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their paucets. Their death and nature do not contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho?
Alack, I am afraid they have awaked. And 'tis not done, the attempt and not the deed can bound us. Hark, I laid their daggers ready, he could not miss them. He had not resembled my father as he slept. I had done it, my husband.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did you not speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
I. Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go get this water and wash these filthy witness from your hands. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look on against I dare not.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me? Every noise appalls me. What hands are here? How did they pluck out mine eyes? Will all great Neptune's ocean wash his blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous and incarnate, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy is it then? Your constancy has left you unattended. Hark, more knocking! Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have old turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? I, the name of Beelzebub. Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins enough about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there? I, the other devil's name. Faith, here's an equivocator that could swear in both the scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet who could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Faith, here's an English tailor, come hither for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock. Never at quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I hadn't thought to have let in some of all professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon, I pray you, remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were caressing till the second cock and drink, sir. This is a great provoker of 3 things.
What 3 things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it mars him. It sets him on and it takes him off. It persuades him and disheartens him, makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in his sleep, and giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir. I had the very throat on me, but I requited him for his lie, and I think, being too strong for him, though he took up my legs some time, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? Our knocking has awakened him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both. Is the king stirring, worthy thane? Not yet. He did command me call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour. I'll bring you to him. I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one. The labor we delight in physics pay. That is the door. I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today.
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard in the air. Strange screams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible, of dire combustion and confused events, new hatched into the woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel Othello to it.
Oh, horrid, horrid, horrid! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee. What's the matter? Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder has broke up the Lord's anointed temple, and stole thence the life of the building. What's it you say? The life?
Mean his majesty?
Approach the chamber, destroy your sight with a new gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See and then speak yourselves. Awake, awake, ring the alarm bell. Murder and treason. Banquo and Donalbain. Malcolm, awake. Shake off this downy sleep. Death's counterfeit. And look on death itself. Up, up, and see the great doom's image. Malcolm, Banquo, as from your graves rise up, and walk like sprites. To countenance disorder, ring the bell.
Ring-a-ding-a-ding.
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley? The sleepers of the house, speak, speak.
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear were murder as it fell. Oh, Banquo, Banquo, our royal master is murdered.
Whoa, alas, what, in our house?
Too cruel anywhere, dear Delphi, prithee. Contradict myself and say it is not so.
Had I died an hour before this chance, I had lived blessed time. From this instance, there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere list is left this vault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are. Do not note. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood. So were their daggers, which were unwiped, we found, upon their pillows. They stared, and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yeah, I do repent me of my fury, that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate, and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition of my violent love outran the pause of reason. Here lie Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gash stabs look like a breach in nature. For ruins, wasteful entrance, there the murderers, steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers untamely breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and that heart courage to make loves known?
Help me, Henzo.
Look to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues? That most may claim this argument for ours?
What should be spoken? Here where our fate hidden in augur hole may rush and seize us. Let's away, our tears are not yet brewed.
Now our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady, and when we have our naked frailties hid, that suffer an exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work. To know it further, feats and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged presence I fight of untreasonable malice.
And so do I.
So all. Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. All to England.
To Ireland I, our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers and men's smiles, the near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft that's shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore, to horse. And let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft, which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
3.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
What? Murdered!
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber.
How is that funny? How is that funny?
Here's a now.
That part is actually funny.
Royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his. Stop laughing.
It's the night, boy.
And I have not heard the clock. Wait, I
That's wrong.
Why do we hold our tongues? That most might. Sorry.